work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed. Are you looking for safe and reliable transportation solutions for your wedding, corporate retreat, or golf trip? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer 3 different sizes of units to cater to your needs, and we provide first-class service at affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca. BetMGM is coming to Alberta on July 13th, and they're bringing over 100 pregame and live betting options. Sign up early at betmgm.com or download the app to get started. BetMGM, make it legendary. See betmgm.com for terms. 18 plus, Alberta only. Please play responsibly. Subject to eligibility requirements.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. BetMGM operates pursuant to an operating agreement with the Alberta iGaming Corporation. Standard message and data rates may apply.
Hi, Edmonton. The legend has been reimagined. Check out the all-new 2026 Subaru Outback. With Subaru's legendary symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive, impressive cargo versatility, advanced safety technology, and an IIHS top safety pickle board or higher for 17 consecutive years, the Outback delivers confidence wherever adventure takes you. Whether it's the daily drive, the mountain getaway, or anything in between, the all-new Outback is built for the journey. Test drive it today at your local Subaru dealer. Welcome to Uncommon.
Get the inside scoop for your team on Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
Hello. Good morning. Welcome to Fantasy Frenzy, powered by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky, wilhaukbeefjerky.com. Of course, only available in Leduc. Well, it's, of course, Donovan Paulson filling in Declan Kruger, who is filling in for Connor Halley, joined alongside by...
It's like a nesting dolls host of Fantasy Frenzy this week.
Exactly. It is... kind of an absolute chaotic mess, which is, what happens when...
It's often how we're at our best.
Yes. It's what happens also when me and you, Brandon, are joined together at the hip. It is a chaotic mess of fun and entertainment, hopefully. That's what I think it is.
I'm inclined to agree with you. I am.
But anyways, often to, actual stuff that matters. The Edmonton Elks last night, we were both in attendance. It was inspiring, I would say, from both the play on the field and the attendance from you guys, or some of our listeners showing up and cheering on the Elks. That was it was inspiring. I was really happy.
You were inspired by that?
Well, I don't know. I was inspired by relative to the first game.
Okay, I'll take that then. Like gradual improvement.
You want to see some level of improvement, and people, should show out and show up for their team. It was a Thursday night, so, maybe some people couldn't make it from work. I don't know. But relative to the first game, where I felt like maybe 1,000 people showed up, maybe, there was at least, you probably ballparked it about 10K.
I think so, yeah.
I was maybe a little bit less, but I'm notably terrible at ballparking how many people are actually in attendance. So take my maybe 8,000 with a grain of salt. But the Elks, it was a good performance last night. It was a weird performance. I think both of us thought kind of the same thing, where you watch that game and you're kind of left scratching your head through the first half where, not a lot's happening on the offensive side of the ball for the Elks outside of a couple of plays. And then you get into the second half and you have just kind of a check down and screen pass explosion.
Mm-hmm.
And everything starts to happen and everything starts to turn up Elks. It was, just the better football team ended up winning, and the better football team really ended up taking it to the Redblacks at the end.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the Elks started the game with such authority where it was like methodical. It was just kind of like piecing their way down the field. No real splash plays, like a couple get broken off by Rankin. But it was just kind of how maybe you can envision the Elks having success offensively, where it's like put the ball in the hand of your best players. He'll eventually break off a large play, which runs a 19. He gets in for the score, obviously. But then the offense really kind of hit a bit of a wall. They still moved the ball okay, but had to settle for field goals a lot of the times. A couple very short and unremarkable drives mixed in. But the defense held up their end of the bargain through the first half. And then you get caught up with some penalty trouble. Obviously, the roughing the kicker keeps the drive alive. A few more penalties continue to move the sticks down the field. And all of a sudden, they're looking first and goal from the 1 because of the horse collar play near the sideline. And the Redblacks are right in the football game. And then into the end of the half where the Elks get a kind of a little double dip, both field goals, however, where you can't convert the touchdown, even despite being inside the red zone, which continues to be a little bit of an issue for the team. So there were a lot of positives for the game. The fourth quarter is where it obviously opens up, and we kind of saw the Elks, I think, dominate in a way we expected more of over the course of 60 minutes. But the final numbers, the box score looks great, where you've got the interceptions, a couple sacks, obviously Rankin with 3 touchdowns, another 150 yards from scrimmage, right? 8 different receivers catch a pass on route to victory. There's lots of positives. It wasn't a perfect game because, man, going to the fourth quarter, it was 16-14, a much lower scoring and a much closer game than many, including the two of us and many others, I'm sure, in the building expected or anticipated. So you give credit for the Elks for winning the game by a large margin, which we expected them to do, but they didn't score a touchdown from the first drive of the game to then the first drive of the fourth quarter. Between that, they settled for 3 field goals total. So there's still plenty of room for improvement, things to work out, kinks. That's always going to be the case. But the Redblacks are not a very good team. They do not have the most talent, probably the lowest amount of total talent on the roster across the CFL. Now, give a little bit of credit to the receivers in the form of Aiden Eberhardt and Justin Hardy, who between the two of them had 31 targets and 21 receptions for about 269 yards I'm seeing. Those are some good lines. But when your quarterback is not taking care of the ball, 4 picks for Jake Mayer, could have been 7 for being very blunt. There's a lot of different angles to look at this football game, but overall, I was more inspired, Donovan, by the play on the field than I was by the attendance, which I get it. You're saying it was a big improvement from the monsoon-filled affair that was the home opener, but this is you couldn't ask for a better night. Your team comes into the game first place in the division. You've got one of the most, if not the most exciting player in all of CFL football. And there was 10,000 people there. I was expecting closer to 20.
That's fair. I was expecting more, but I'm just looking at it as let's get a gradual continued increase rather than, all show up at once. I just, compared to the home opener, that was a massive win because there was actually people in the stands, more than like 100. Because that's what it felt like at the home opener.
Well, yeah, you're watching the home opener even just on TV, and you say, I think I can count by hand how many people are at this game. If they give a full 360 pan of the cameras, you'd be able to count them as the camera moves along.
Yeah. There was the people who were in the stands for the home opener. Everybody was dedicated. They were locked in,
and they were wet.
They were soaked, myself included.
And Donovan, I want to make note, because MTR just texted too, it's not going to be an overnight change in terms of attendance. No, I'm not expecting to sell out all of a sudden just because they're 3-1.
Yeah.
But we saw last year, right, the marquee games, some substantial crowds come out. So, if you take that as part of this growth and turnaround for the franchise, you say, all right, last year they were much more competitive. They showed a lot of signs of being a team that was sort of in a playoff hunt until the final few weeks when it got away from them. But you're like, all right, Rankin's unreal. And then you come into this season, you're returning a lot of the roster, especially a lot of the prominent pieces. Second year of the regime with Mark Killam and company, obviously at Hervey, Chris Morris, etc. Maybe I was a little too optimistic. I guess maybe I'm the only one to blame here for thinking that there would be a better turnout. But you say it's a Thursday night. I would counter that by saying, okay, so what's the pushback when we say, why aren't there more people there on Saturdays? Oh, well, everyone's gone to the cabin for the weekend. Thursday night, that shouldn't be the case.
That's fair.
You counter and say, well, you got to get up and go to work in the morning. That doesn't seem to stop people from filling out to Riverhawks games, which guess what? Start at the same time and can go longer, by the way, because there's no clock in baseball, as we know. Oilers, I always feel hesitant to bring the Oilers into the conversation, but like those games don't start till 8 o'clock at night sometimes, even during the week. Still sold out every night. And it's not like they're a first place club. The Oilers are. Now, they've got exciting players, some of the best in their respective league. So do the Elks. And I've just reached a little bit of a block in my own reasoning, Donovan, where I'm struggling to now find the reasons why the attendance isn't improving more quickly. It's not going to be overnight. That's fine. I understand it. But I just thought it would be coming along a little bit quicker because my thought process was always winning cures ailments for sports organizations. And they're winning. They have a very good team, and it still hasn't quite materialized in better attendance numbers.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a lack of faith and still people thinking that this is going to revert back to the proverbial pumpkin that we all expect this franchise to be. But winning cures a lot, but also I think one of the main things you got to factor in here is, you know what, you did kind of alienate part of your fan base. And as much as I think we all hate to talk about it, you probably did alienate some people. And, you know, some people are, you know, a little stubborn and don't want to show up now that they've been alienated. But yeah, like it turned out to be a good game. I was inspired by at least a bit of a jump in terms of attendance. I was inspired by what I watched on the field, which is Justin Rankin continues to be an absolute dog. Cody Fajardo had 340 passing yards. How many of those were in the air? Maybe 100. It was a lot of dump offs. It was a lot of check downs. It was screen passes, call them whatever you want. There was a lot of different little short yardage passes that wound up going for massive yak yards. So it was a fun one though. If you were there for the fourth quarter, that was a good time. The Elks absolutely put belt to keister. And yeah, but to touch on some of your texts in regards to the Elks and their attendance, yeah, I mean, there's some talks about they need to change their name back. Yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons that people probably aren't showing up. Some
Elks
people
isn't even a real word, Donnie.
I know.
To jump in.
I know, but like, it definitely plays a factor, Josh.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I've talked to plenty of people in my time tending bar that were like, "Oh, I don't watch anymore because once they changed the name, I like there was no point. I didn't want to go anymore."
I will say for people who have that approach, I think it's a little bit stubborn.
It's definitely an old way of thinking.
It's still your team. It's name.
I don't understand why a name change would just like make you sell off. Yeah, like I get it. Maybe you feel betrayed by the team or whatever. They're being like corporate greed or something. I don't know. But like it's still the exact same product on the field. Like the name change doesn't affect like how poorly they were being run.
Yes.
Or anything like that. Like it's just a name. Who cares? Who gives a rip?
to me, people just got to get over it.
Yeah. Well, hey, Mikey texting in right now. All due respect and great show, but people got to get over the name Mikey.
I couldn't agree more, Mikey. Like it's just it makes total sense why you weren't showing up when the team was being run like a bunch of 5-year-olds were at the helm. Like nothing made sense what they did. They were in total la land. I don't know what they were doing in any respect, whether that was on the field product, whether that was, in the box, in the general manager's chair, whatever. Like everything, nothing made sense. Everything was a mess. But now you're watching a good product and you're watching a team that looks to be one of the better teams in the CFL.
This is a former Grey Cup winning front office.
Yes. And this is a former Grey Cup winning quarterback. This is a former Grey Cup winning. There's a lot of former Grey Cup winning players on this team and Grey Cup winning key pieces in this roster. I just don't understand. People can say the name change has nothing to do with the attendance, but I think it really does.
Even on the text line, it's split like 50-50. It'll always come down to the name change. The name change shouldn't matter. This, that, the other thing. I think maybe on our part, it was a bit naive to say, well, you start winning and people will start showing up this early in the season. Because you brought it up. Maybe they'll turn back into the pumpkin, whatever. I don't think so. The second half of last year, once they brought Cody Fajardo in, there was still a lot to be desired. But with the addition of Cody Fajardo and Carter O'Donnell on the O-line, all of a sudden there was a lot more protection. They started winning games. They were hanging out in games. I think it was Cody's first or second game last season that they only lost the Rough Riders, who would go on to win the Grey Cup by 1 point, a single point. And then they made all these additions this year. Justin Rankin has clearly taken a jump in his production and how, he's so much better than everybody else in the game right now. Every time he touched the ball last night, I was like, oh man, yeah, he's breaking away for something here. I think it was his second touchdown, that receiving one out of the backfield. And they missed the first tackle, and he managed to dodge the second tackle. And I was like, oh, that's a tud. And of course, he ran 20 yards and got a touchdown. The more that happens, the more people will show up. But maybe for us on our end saying, well, if they start the season strong, maybe people will show up more. I think maybe it's still a lot more prove it in the city as well.
Yeah, and that's fair. But to me, I think this is a pretty smart text in terms of from Norman Combine. The difference between going to the Oilers versus Double E is going to an Oilers game is a status thing. Most of the people in Rogers are corporate and upper class. It's a status thing. The Double E are just there. It's an event for average folks. He uses air quotes, so hard to explain, but it's a totally different crowd. And I think you're right. It is a different crowd. It's less suits and more of just your regular 9 to 5, your 9 to 5 Joes, your 9 to 5 Timmies. Everybody's kind of in the crowd. But I think at some point people need to start putting maybe their pride aside and saying, it's hard to say, but this is still your team. This is still your city. Do you want to lose? Do you want to lose a franchise? And people can say that, oh, but it's just the CFL. It's a second-rate league. We've had that text come in, and I would counter with, well, you still support the Riverhawks. You still support
both of which are
the second-rate leagues of the second-rate league. They're not. They're like the fourth-rate leagues.
The CFL is not a developmental league. This is a pro league. The Riverhawks and the Stingers are both developmental leads. Last year, the Riverhawks lost, I think it was 5 players to the MLB draft in the middle of the season. And then the Stingers, they have guys that play over in Russia or in Europe or other parts of Europe, or they play in the G League in the fall and the spring, in the NBA, trying to get into the NBA. Xavier Moon, basically the best player to ever play in the CEBL, 3-time MVP winner. The MVP is named after him. Went and played with the Los Angeles Clippers. He's back now because he was playing in Russia. But these are developmental leagues. Those leagues are stepping stones for guys to go. Carter O'Donnell, granted, yes, he played for the Indianapolis Colts, but he's in the CFL now. He couldn't hack it in the NFL. Now, I get it. that makes it sound right like a second-rate league, but he was going up against other guys who were just bigger than him, played in Texas and all these other things. Like, sometimes you just can't hack it in the pros. And the fact that he's doing well in the CFL, congratulations to Carter O'Donnell. That is a hard thing to do. It's a totally different set of rules up here. Anyways.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of, this has been the perfect conversation to get the text line buzzing, because everybody is split. Like, when I say this is maybe the most split I've ever seen in text line, half of you are saying the name change has nothing to do with it. Half of you
or shouldn't have anything.
Or doesn't. Half of you are saying, and it doesn't bother you. Half of you are going with the name change was either huge for me. The name change, I can see how it's kind of, there's tradition in that name and all of this stuff. It's a very interesting topic, and one that, I mean, for some of you who, choose to go out there and go support the team. Hey, we are right with you. We respect the hell out of you. And, we need, more of you back in the stands, because, hey, this was once a very proud franchise and a very proud market, and things have kind of gone away in recent years. But to me, you can't use the product on the field excuse anymore. You just,
or the name of the team or the product of the field excuse anymore. I agree.
It's let's move on here. Let's move on as a city, and let's show out for your teams. Like, you show up for the Oilers, you show up for the Riverhawks, you show up for the Stingers. Why is football any different? Why are the Elks any different? It's an interesting conversation, and we're gonna get text about it for the rest of the show. But that's why we do what we do, Josh. That's why we do what we do.
That's why we love what we do.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get to break. We did run a little bit long here, but of course, this is Fantasy Frenzy, powered by Wilhauk Beef Jerky on Sports 1440.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
You may get up early, but more than likely, the team at GS Construction have already gotten up before you, grabbed a coffee, headed to the site, and started their day. So while Edmonton wakes up, GS crews are already underground, quietly keeping things moving, upgrading, and laying the new underground infrastructure for our growing city. If you're the kind of person who goes to sleep with their steel-toed boots on, GS Construction wants to hear from you. We're looking for a maintenance foreman as well as a building and yard attendant. Visit gsconstruction.ca for more.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions. Beer League Slow Pitch. It's an Alberta summer tradition.
I got shortstop.
Oh my God, is she ever?
I'll take pitcher.
Yeah, I'm just here for the dugout snacks.
When you're playing on the field, you need serious fuel, and there's only one MVP.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
Load up on Alberta's best beef jerky and hit a home run with the team. It's the perfect snack for your summer sports.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Cantork has always been a forward-thinking company, but now that we've turned 25, I can't help but take a minute to take a look back. Thank you to everyone that's been with us along the way.
Hot coffee, hotter takes, and the sports stories that matter. Check out Tom Gazzola weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Be part of the conversation. 833-401-1440.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair. and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to RobertsonBodyWorks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
Ready to upgrade your ride this spring? Come on down to the Golf Cart People. They're a family-owned and operated business that's been serving the community since '97. Whether you're looking for a brand new or quality pre-owned cart, a rental for a special event, they do that too. The Golf Cart People have a huge selection of parts and accessories, and their expert service team is here to keep you rolling. The Golf Cart People, your one-stop shop for everything golf cart. Visit golfcartpeople.com.
Who should start? Who needs to hit the bench? Find out with Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
Welcome back. This is Fantasy Frenzy with Paulson and Douglas. No Connor Halley, no Declan Kruger, as you've grown accustomed to throughout the week. Of course, this is powered by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky, WilhaukBeefJerky.com. Brando, you missed a bit of a heated talk between myself and Josh, and some people on the text line got fired up.
Perfect. Yeah, just excellent time for me to come back into. I'll have to now field all of the.
It's a very mixed.
All the vitriol.
It's about 50-50. It is half of people just don't care and just want to show up and want to support their team. We've got Gary, 39 years season seat holder, loves his CFL football, shows up no matter what. Gary, you're
I respect that, Gary.
Like absolute class in Gary. And then you got, some of the people, making comments and, saying some stuff, but
that maybe aren't as positive about the organization since they changed the name.
There are some very fair topics in the sense of, the team hadn't made the playoffs for 7 years. The team hadn't been good for a long time, but now that excuse is null and void. The team is good.
Yeah, I agree.
You've got Justin Rankin, who is unbelievably exciting, and
he is that type of player that is worth the price of admission.
And the price of admission, I'm sorry, there's people talking on here about, money is scarce nowadays, which it is.
Very true.
Which is true. But have you looked at the price of Elks tickets recently? It's like $20. You can get into the park for like $20.
Yeah.
And I don't know, what is that? 4 bags of chips?
Yeah.
Right?
To me, and I get it. Like if this is like going out to take in entertainment or something, that's just not in the cards because of, listen, it's rough out there. The cost of everything is soared. Making ends meet is more difficult than ever. I totally get that. But if you are someone that has disposable income to use on entertainment, you will not find a more inexpensive option than this.
Oh, exactly.
Because the counter then that I've heard plenty of times from both our text line and elsewhere around the city is, it's like, okay, well, yeah, it's $20 to get in the game, but then you still gotta, beer's still expensive and food's still expensive. Like that's not a requirement of going to the game. You're allowed to bring in an empty water bottle. And I noticed, I don't know if this is a new thing this year. I just never noticed it prior. There's a spot there to fill up your water bottle, right? You bring it in. So it's kind of like almost just going through airport security where you bring it in, it's empty. They'll let you fill it up in there and you don't have to buy beer. You don't have to buy pop. Now, once again, if that is part of your experience of going out and it's scheduled for once a month, once every couple of weeks, once a summer even, to go out, go to a game and do the whole shebang, it's still modestly and moderately priced compared to other options of a similar ilk, which once again goes to, and we got the text from Derek, comparing it to the hockey game is always tough because the Oilers are the Oilers. I get it. But the Oilers still sell out every game and the people still spend $300 a night on beer.
We did have the points made that that's more of a suits affair, which I do agree with. The Oilers, it's a status event. It is a suits affair. It is, the if you want to call them the top percenters.
Yeah,
for
sure.
That's a fair point. Then the Elks and leagues like the CFL have always been more of a common man's.
I would agree.
League.
Absolutely.
And now the
A
common
little bit
man,
more of a family-friendly type spot to go.
yes, and now
It's outdoor, if it's nice, weather's good, all those things.
now that the common man isn't showing up, everybody's talking about why isn't the common man showing up, and it's been a point, and it's there's a lot of different reasons that have come into it for sure, but there's so many excuses that people are making. Oh, it's not easy enough to get down to Commonwealth. Yeah, sure, it might not be easy, but have you heard of this thing called Park and Ride? Have you heard of this thing called an LRT? There are so many different excuses that people are making that all have counters where it's just, I just don't understand how we can continue to make excuses. You know what? It is what it is. The product's good. I'm sure the Fairweather fans will start coming out maybe in week 10 when this team is more along and they can see that the product is actually good again. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. Scott also kind of agrees with me on that sentiment, but there's a lot of stuff happening here in Edmonton in terms of the Elks and the product and all that. But Brando, I'll change topics here for a little bit.
Sure, I'm on board with that.
And I asked Greg's and Deck yesterday during our roundtable segment about the Toronto Blue Jays, and when do you feel comfortable either buying or selling? We were all in agreement on that show yesterday, on Jason's show, about the fact that the Jays are probably going to be buyers no matter what, unless they fall about 5 games behind.
I would agree.
And they're going to probably be buyers. But how comfortable are you in the fact that they are most likely going to be buyers? Does it scare you a little bit? Do you think they're going to be missing a little bit of value? They have a chance to make a lot of value on Dalton Varsho and Kevin Gausman, and it looks like they're probably not going to. So I'm a little bit worried because I don't think they're good enough.
It's a very valid concern because, we've watched them so far this year, Donovan. We're over halfway point. The All-Star break's coming up here this next week, and it's very understandable to say, why should they be buyers? They haven't proven it. But this is still the largely same team that went to Game 7 of the World Series. A couple, an out away, right, from winning. Now, most players had career seasons or near career seasons last year. You can't expect the same level of production from so many of your depth options. But that's not really what's plagued the Jays here, right? It's been their top players. The regression we expected from George Springer last year has now hit him, where the age is a factor. I'm not sure he is a everyday player right now. He can still get hot, earn more time, all those things. Sure. But staring in the face is Vlad Guerrero Jr. and his lack of production, lack of power. Kaz Okamoto has been a revelation. I don't even think we'd be having this conversation without him on the team this year. He has 21 home runs. The next closest on the team has 8. The pitching staff is being propped up by Dylan Cease largely. Gausman has had spurts of looking like what we know Kevin Gausman to be, and then he's had some very rough outings. That's baseball. He's not a bona fide ace anymore where you expect him to go out there and deal every single outing, and I'm comfortable with that. We know how good Louis Varon has been. So my point here is that the sum of the parts is still enough to be optimistic. And you talk about the couple prime pieces they'd be looking to sell should they take that route. The Gausman one, I get it. Expiring deal. At this point, there's always teams on the hunt for help with starting pitching, especially veteran guys, playoff experience. That's really valuable. And he's shown he can still perform. Varsho has 1 more year, right? He's eligible for an extension.
No, he's a free agent straight up.
Okay, my apologies. Is that not a guy that if you're the Jays, you're still keen on keeping in the fold? Because even if you decide that this year is not your year, and you're we're not good enough, there's no sense in buying or even sell some parts. That's a player you're looking to replace. Like, I'm more interested in extending Dalton Varsho than I am trading him away. Because we know how good the defense is. The dependability from a health standpoint is probably the biggest concern. His bat is as hot and cold as anybody in this lineup. To your original question, I'm comfortable with them being buyers, but I don't see them going biggest game hunting. They clearly need some pitching help. Can you let some of the big teams be duking it out over the likes of Tarek Skubal, and you maybe sidle in and come in for somebody that's a little more appropriate for what you're able to pay right now? Because your system's been, you obviously buy last year. You don't have a loaded prospect pool. You got some guys for sure. So I'd be comfortable buying at a modest level. You say, we're trusting it mostly with the guys in the room. We'll bring in some help, but don't be waiting for a savior to come through the door.
Yeah, that's fair. I think you'll probably see them be minor buyers, but then I also think you're going to miss the playoff if you're just minor buyers, because I think this roster needs some actual surgery. I think they need 4 pieces if they actually want to be competitive. Like, I look at, you can point towards their bullpens started to figure it out a little bit, and some guys have started to pull their you-know-what together, or their you-know-what out of their end.
You-know-what?
Yeah, right? Like, so, but I still think they need at least 1 bullpen arm, most likely 2, because as we know, bullpen arms come at a premium, and we know bullpen arms are kind of largely what gets it done for you.
Yeah, yes, especially on playoff time. We know how important the pen can be. But do you not think it's a little bit more beneficial that they have their, like, a bona fide closer, which I think are the most sought after guys, obviously, at deadline time? Starters, you almost could put them in a completely different category, of course. But so they have that. So you're just looking for arms. You don't need a high leverage guy. You need guys that can give you consistent innings.
That you believe in.
That you believe in, where I think you still have a few players in your pen. Like, if we're all ready to just totally, write off Jeff Hoffman and say he stinks, I'm not in that camp. I think he certainly was not fit to be the closer anymore. But in more mid-leverage setup type spots, whether it be in 7 or 8, I'm comfortable with him. I still think Tyler Rogers is a good option. After that, it gets a little dicier. And that's clearly, I just listed 2 guys. That's not enough. And the rest of the pen is very much just ho-hum. You're not super comfortable with a lot of them.
No, like, there's guys in there that I like. Like, I like Braden Fisher. I like Mason Fluharty.
And like Fluharty, I mean, he's been asked to do so much. But you almost can't blame him a ton for getting womped around a little bit, because he leads the league in appearances.
They've been so unbelievably overworked. There's a couple options in the bullpen that I do like, and once you see what's his name go back into the bullpen here after doing his spot starting.
Miles?
Yeah, Spencer Miles. Once he goes back into the bullpen.
Am I crazy, or is it just like the team always seems to play their best offensively on these bullpen days?
They do.
And Miles, as a result, is looking tremendous.
Yes.
I've loved, like, talk about another guy that where would they be without him? Whew. It's a little ugly to think about, because he's been excellent.
Spencer Miles has been fantastic, and he has been easily one of the stories of the season for the Jays. What a pickup, Rule 5 draft pickup. Has worked out unbelievably well. But to me, you need probably 2 bullpen arms. You need, they just have too many. You need an outfielder who's got some pop. I look at their outfield and it sucks. Like, with all due respect to those guys out there, I like Nathan Lucas. He's a good story.
With all due respect, I'm going to disrespect the hell out of you.
I like Nathan Lucas. Nathan Lucas can play on most major league teams, and he can be a fine number 3 outfielder or a 4th outfielder on a really good team. Jesus Sanchez is fine. Like, I don't mind Jesus Sanchez, but I think they're all their outfielders, with the exception of Dalton Varsho. Varsho is the unique outlier there, where he is the center fielder. You live with, like, some average offense for the elite defense. Like, he's at least an average offensive player.
Like, the bat's good enough that on any team, well, most teams, majority teams, he's still an everyday player. The bat is average enough to complement the defense.
But I look at a guy like Jesus Sanchez and Nathan Lucas, and they're sort of the same type of player in my eyes, where they're both basically league average bats. One of them has better defense than Nathan Lucas. One of them's really suspect out there. But to me, you need an upgrade on one of those two gentlemen, and you need to make a big splash in the outfield if you really want to be competitive. And then the position I still come back to is, man, Andres Gimenez, just the guy swings a pool noodle. Like he's so bad offensively. There's a thing in my mind. Andres Gimenez is the perfect player if you're one player away from winning a World Series.
Like a defensive substitution type.
He is the perfect player for the Dodgers, where you just need some really good defense. The rest of the lineup will take care of itself. But when your lineup is struggling, when your lineup is filled with these 10% above to 10% worse than league average players like the Blue Jays is, you're going to look at Andres Gimenez and go, poke him with a stick and the old do something meme, right? Like, I love the defense, but like, at what point do you look at the contract, which is $23.5 million next year and the year after that, and the year after that, and go, man, this guy isn't going to cut it. Like, if you really want to make the playoffs, to me, Andres Gimenez can't be your everyday starting shortstop. Because you need more offense. This team's struggling for offense. I know they didn't last time out where, everybody exploded and they got, 2 9+ run games in the Giants series, but
the Giants not very good.
Are horrible. And to me, they need some more punch. Like, it's not good enough. You look at their stats as a team, and like Kazuma Okamoto is single-handedly saving them. Because look at these home run stats, and I'll pull up where they actually rank after the break. But like, there is so few home runs on this roster. You look and you go, how many guys have double-digit homers? Oh, 1. That's not good enough. I'm sorry, that is just simply put not good enough. And George Springer is second, and he has been horrible with. Just under 10% worse than the league average hitter, and he's got 9 homers. Like, it's just not good enough. So, this Jays team, they need a little bit of surgery if they actually want to be competitive, in my eyes, after the deadline. And yeah,
I get we can finish it on this to go to break. Is there any consolation in the fact that you could say the same about essentially every team in the American League?
No, because I think this team wanted to make another make another splash in the playoffs. No, like, I look at the rest of the American League and go, yeah, it sucks, but what does it matter? Like, if your team's not good, am I wrong? Like, if you sure you can make it in, but if your team's actually not good, and you're hovering around 500 as you make the playoffs, you're just not going to make any noise. You're not going to go on a deep run. Like, maybe you will if you run into another team who's just like you. But if you're making the wild card, you're going to be playing the worst of the non-division winners, right? So you're going to be playing a pretty good team, and you're probably going to get your doors blown off. That's how I look at it, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe they can possibly find a way to do something, but like, this team's 25th in baseball in home runs as a team. They're 93 homers, and Kazuma Okamoto single-handedly takes them out of last. That's just not good enough. So we've run long once again. Of course, this is Fantasy Frenzy presented by Wilhock Beef Jerky on Sports 1440.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy, from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Say hello to Alberta's home for reeling and dealing. With Play Alberta, you can spin into the excitement of popular slots like Cash Eruption and Desert Fantasy. Experience Alberta exclusive games and get in on the action of live dealer tables with all new elevated stakes. However you prefer to play, the fun is ready when you are. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Listen up, friends. Operation Pizza is a go at Papa John's. They're introducing new personal pizzas just in time to celebrate the premiere of Toy Story 5. These adventure-sized pies come in new exciting flavors like Sheriff's Roundup, Space Ranger-oni, and Reach for the Pie. Or take your personal pizza to infinity and beyond by creating your own flavor just for you. Order 2 or more with Papa Pairings and get yours for only $9.99 each. New personal pizzas are ready for takeoff. See Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 in theaters June 19th.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Jaffa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Jaffa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit JaffaEquipment.com or stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Join play-by-play announcer Ben Showman for the games. Live on Sports 1440. The Toronto Blue Jays are on Edmonton's home for all things sports. Sports 1440.
Welcome to the Bro Zone, the ultimate garage setup for checking out the big game.
70-inch TV? Check. Surround sound? Check. Mini fridge fully stocked? Check.
But a legendary Bro Zone needs legendary snacks.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Load up on Alberta's best beef jerky. It's the perfect game day companion when you're watching from the ultimate fan cave.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Get ready for a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. The Gene Simmons Band, performing your favorite classic hits. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Tickets on sale now at silenticecenter.com. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
Every coach needs a game plan. Plan your fantasy frenzy with Halley and Douglas right here on Edmonton's Sports 1440.
Presented by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
Welcome back. One final segment here on Fantasy Frenzy, of course, powered by Will Hawk Beef Jerky with Paulson and Douglas. No Halley, no Kruger. It's
but
yeah.
Connor's back on Monday.
He is back on Monday.
So for those that have really missed the con man, 2 weeks straight of vacation, Donovan.
Yes,
we've
sir.
had this debate on the show before. Connor and I have. Are you in favor of that? Like in a world where it's just standard 2026 life, you get your 2 weeks of vacation for the year. Are you in favor of taking them all in one fell swoop? Like the con man here? I'm taking 1 week at the end of August, and then the other week is kind of like sprinkled out as single days or on the rest of the calendar. You know, maybe a couple extra long weekends over the summer or this or that. Where do you land?
It depends on what my plans are, like where I feel like I want to go. You know, like if I'm going on like a Europe trip, if I'm leaving the continent.
Have you done that before?
No.
So,
but I'm going
purely
to.
Hypothetical.
I'm going to at some point in the next, I don't know,
in your life,
handful of years. In the next handful of years, I'm going to leave the continent.
Forever?
Then,
are you coming back?
No, of course I'm coming back.
Okay.
Then I would take them all 2 weeks at once. But for me right now, like I'm going to Toronto, I'm taking a week, well, almost a week, and then I'll take maybe another week in late summer, last week of August or something like that. Or,
right.
I'll look around the team's schedule and then I'll take another week off some other time. But yeah, we got lots of options here.
And I'll just do this as a super tease. This is a super tease, and I'm not going to expand on it anymore. When Connor returns on Monday, the show has an announcement. That's all I'll say.
I think I know what this announcement is.
Well, don't spoil
I'm not
it.
going to spoil it. Don't worry. I just had my opinion asked for from a certain somebody about a certain thing. So
how interesting! Wow, can't keep it any more vague than that. So, yeah, much like this hypothetical Euro trip that Donovan's going to roll out on, there is a announcement by someone about something on the show on Monday.
Yes. We'll jump back to our Blue Jays conversation because there's lots of Jays text here coming in here. We got Walter Jimenez is second on the Blue Jays in RBI. The team has a bigger problem. That is true. When Andres Jimenez is second on your team in RBIs, there is a bit of an issue there. But that also does kind of speak to just maybe where in the order the Jays are kind of coming up. Like, and what I mean by that is when the Jays are getting on base, like it's not been the top guys getting on base. It's been kind of that middle, wherever Kazuma Okamoto is kind of where everybody's getting on base. You've had Pinongo get on base a fairly decent amount when he's been, when he was hot. You had Nathan Lucas getting on when he was hot. Like it's been kind of like the mushy middle guys who've been getting on base the most, at least, fairly recently. So you've had Andres Jimenez get a lot of RBI opportunities, which some of them he's cashed in on. I'll give him credit, but he is also 26% worse than the league average hitter. So he's still a black hole. And if there was and MTR asked me, Donnie, you got any names? As for names, I would potentially be looking for at the trade deadline. I would be doing anything in my power to try and get Brandon Lau out of Pittsburgh. That is a guy having a tremendous season. If you haven't paid attention to Brandon Lau, now that he's in Pittsburgh, he is one of the lone bright spots on my fantasy baseball team. Brandon Lau he's got 21 bombs on the season, and that would be tied for first on the Toronto Blue Jays. He's an offensive first, second baseman. In this situation, if you're acquiring Brandon Lau, you'd slide Ernie Clement to shortstop, and you'd have Brandon Lau manning second. He's a terrible, terrible defender, but I don't care because Brandon Lau hits tanks, and he's really good with the bat. He is a player who he's not going to be an average kind of guy. He is a 243 hitter, but he's got 21 homers. And that's, to me, what this Jays team needs is a little injection of pop and power. Lau is a player I'd be very, very interested in. If you want to pan this over to the outfield, the outfield market is odd because of how many teams are kind of still in the mushy middle in the mix here. I don't know who's exactly going to be available in the outfield market. You could go for a guy. Like, I hate throwing out some names on the outfield market because I don't like any of the names, to be honest. Like, I'd try everything in my power to try and land like a Byron Buxton or something like that. But the Twins are in the mix, and he's not going to go anywhere.
Because the another name that I'm interested in from the pitching side of things is Joel Ryan. Because I think he's the very clear second best starter that's available. So, like I was saying, if you let everybody fight over Tarek Skubal, and while that's ongoing, can you give the Twins a big enough offer before all the teams that miss out on Skubal then circle back to the next option? Can you say, can we get him before it gets to that point? Let all the top dogs, the big spenders with the best pools, we want Tarek Skubal. And you just come, he's like, hey, Minnesota, we'll give you a really good offer for Joe Ryan. Interested. Because I like Joe Ryan a lot.
Yeah.
I wonder if he still might be a little expensive for like just asset wise, what the Jays can and are maybe willing to fork out. But I'm much more interested in him than, say, Tarek Skubal, just for example, because obviously he's going to come with a huge cost of acquisition.
Oh, absolutely right. There's the outfield market is weird. The starting pitching market, there's a lot of guys who, if you want to go around the margins and pick up some smaller pieces that aren't going to cost you an arm and a leg, you can get some guys who are going to be at least somewhat decent values, I think, in the starting market. But Joe Ryan's a guy I would target for sure. But like the outfield market is weird. I think you can look. You can maybe go like a Gavin Sheets or a Taylor Ward. Like those are two players who aren't real needle movers. Like they're both above league average hitters. Taylor Ward's only got 5 homers on the year, which is really weird, but he's getting a lot of extra base hits. I'd put that into largely Camden Yards as a weird park now, where righties kind of power goes to die. But yeah, like those are two names, Sheets or potentially Taylor Ward, where I like the players, I like the bats. But do I think they're real needle movers? Probably not. Another guy I might look for if I really want some more pop, Wilson Contreras in Boston. Wilson Contreras is having a nice season. There's some names for you if you want to keep on some tabs on some names here coming up as we reach the MLB trade deadline here in just under a month. There's Jays 19 games. The Jays also get in action, we should say, tonight against the Padres, 7:40. It's going to be
this will be a big test.
To
head into the break after you take care of business against the Giants. Obviously, the one loss was not pretty, but your two wins come in authoritative manner. The Giants, as we said, are not a good team. The Padres are. They're a very good team. Can you hold your own here? And if you send yourself in to ride some of this positive offensive momentum into the All-Star break, listen, call it wishful thinking, reaching, grasping at straws here. I think it could go a long way to setting them up for a better unofficial second half and maybe shape some of their deadline plans as a result.
Yeah. We're gonna have an interesting kind of stretch run to the deadline here. And Walter, acquiring Brandon Lau won't fix Vladdy's subpar play. This is true, but acquiring Brandon Lau would sure do a lot in terms of making this lineup a little bit scarier. Mac, any love for my boy Louis Varland? Louis Varland has been a savior.
He's the team's MVP.
Louis Varland, there's a reason he's going to the All-Star game. Enough said. Louis Varland is a dog. We love Louis Varland. That is it for Fantasy Frenzy, of course, powered by Wilhock Beef Jerky. But now it's time for a Sports 1440 update with the one, the only, Drandon Douglas. And this is brought to you by Cattail Crossing. Early bird deals every Saturday and Sunday, 6 a.m. to 7:30, $50 for 9 holes with a cart and a Caddyshack snack voucher. Book now at cattailcrossing.ca. Here is Drandon Douglas.
The Sports 1440 update.
World Cup quarterfinal action continuing this afternoon. Spain taking on Belgium at 1 o'clock from SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. And then tomorrow, the doubleheader between Norway, England, and then Argentina up against Switzerland. CFL week number 6 continuing tonight from the Peg with the Blue Bombers hosting the Argonauts. Kickoff at 6:30. Newly acquired Drew Brown starting at quarterback for the Blue Bombers. In the majors today, full slate of games, including the Blue Jays opening a set in San Diego against the Padres. Shane Bieber on the hill for Toronto. JP Sears, the lefty, countering for the Padres. First pitch coming 7:40 Mountain. You catch that game right here on Sports 1440. Elsewhere, Brewers are in Pittsburgh. Yankees up against the Nats in D.C. Orioles hosting the Royals. Red Sox in New York for some interleague play against the Mets. And the Mariners take on the Rays from Tampa Bay. Remax Field tonight, the Marion Barriers will make their first appearance in Edmonton as they take on the Riverhawks for the first of 3. First pitch at 7:05. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is the Lowdown with Low Tide. I'm Brendan Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.